Good afternoon, class 11. So today we are going to continue with the chapter of thermodynamics. We were doing the first law of thermodynamics. We have done the basic parts of it, and now we will enter into the main portion of the first law of thermodynamics. Now, up till now we have learned that in order to change the thermodynamic state of a system, we can either do work on the system, or we may apply heat energy directly to the system. That is, either by doing work directly on the system or by heat transfer, we can change the thermodynamic state of the system. The thermodynamic state of the system means the pressure, volume and temperature. And as an example of this, we took the example of warming our hands. Like if we want to warm our hands, we can either hold it over the fire directly, that is we are transferring heat energy directly to it, or we may rub our hands together, in which case we are doing work. In either cases, the temperature of our hands will increase, our hands will feel warm. That is a thermodynamic state, change in a thermodynamic state has happened. Either it can happen through heat transfer or it can happen through work done. Now let us take the example of a system which is initially at thermodynamic state A. This is the initial thermodynamic state of the system. And this B is suppose the final thermodynamic state of a system. Now first, this change from A to B is carried out by path 1. First, it is carried out by path 1. Suppose in carrying out this change from A to B following path 1, suppose Q1 amount of heat was supplied and W1 amount of work was done by the system. Clear? So Q1 amount of heat was supplied to the system and W1 amount of work was done by the system. This is for path 1. Similarly, let us suppose we perform the same thing following path 2. We changed the thermodynamic state of the system, but now first we followed this path, which was path 1. Now we are following path 2. In going from A to B following path 2, suppose Q2 amount of heat was supplied and the work done was W2, right? Now suppose let us take the example of path 3. Another path like this. In path 3 again, suppose Q3 amount of heat was supplied and W3 was the amount of work done. Similarly, we can take another example, say path 4. In path 4, Q4 amount of heat was supplied and W4 was the amount of work done by the system. In each of these 4 cases, if we calculate the difference between Q1 and W1, in this case, Q2 and W2 in this case, Q3 and W3 in this case, and Q4 and W4 in this case, we will get something. Say this is Q1 minus W1. In this case, the difference will be Q2 minus W2. In this case, it will be Q3 minus W3. In this case, it will be Q4 minus W4. If we carry out this experiment, we will see that all these differences, this Q1 minus W1, Q2 minus W2, Q3 minus W3, Q4 minus W4, all of these differences will be equal. Their paths are different. The values of Q1, W1, Q2, all of these may be different, are different. But the difference between Q1 and W1, the difference between the heat energy supplied and the amount of work done, this difference will remain constant in all of the paths. No matter which path you take for going from A to B, this difference will remain constant. So from this we can conclude that this difference is a certain quantity which does not depend upon the path which is being taken, but it is only dependent upon the initial and final states of the system. Right? And this quantity that we are talking about, this difference between the Q and the W, this is known as the change in internal energy, and we represent it as delta U. So This difference is called change in internal energy, and it is denoted as WU. So suppose the internal energy of the system at this state was UA and this state was UB. So the difference between UA and UB, or UB and UA, this is known as delta U. And this delta U is equal to Q1 minus W1, which is again equal to Q2 minus W2, which is again equal to Q3 minus W3, and so on and so forth. So in general, we can write delta U is equal to Q minus W. This is the mathematical expression of the first law of thermodynamics. This is how we mathematically define the first law of thermodynamics, and this delta U is a unique function. It is a unique function because it depends only on the states of the system. It is a property of the states of the system. It does not depend upon the path which is taken. Right. Now, the same equation can be written down in this manner also. Q is equal to delta U plus W. We are just changing the sides. We are interchanging the sides. Now, this is a more clearer definition of the first law of thermodynamics. This states that when Q amount of heat is supplied to a system, then some part of that heat is used up in increasing or changing the internal energy of the system, and rest of it is used up for doing work. This is actually the statement of the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics states that if Q amount of heat energy is supplied to a system, some part of it is used up in changing the internal energy of the system, and the rest is used for doing work. This is the first law of thermodynamics. If Q amount of heat is supplied to a system, some part of it is used up in changing the internal energy of the system, and the rest of it is used up for doing work. This is nothing but a different way of stating the energy conservation principle, which states that energy can be present in various forms, but the total energy of the system will always remain constant. So the first law of thermodynamics is a result of the energy conservation principle. This was all about the first law of thermodynamics. From the next class onwards, we will study the different processes, and we will see what form this equation takes for different kinds of processes. Thank you.